When I first moved to Nashville, I was looking for a way for my entire family to help our unhoused friends. And that's how I first learned about People Loving Nashville. And I'm thrilled to introduce you to Ryan Lampa, the founder of People Loving Nashville today. How are you, Ryan?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing really well, and there's so much I want to ask you about, but before we get into it, can you just tell us a little bit about what, stirred in your heart to create People Loving Nashville?
Yeah, sure. Well, I often say that People Loving Nashville kind of created parts of me. So 13 years ago, there was two gentlemen that were living on a stoop behind my house, and I got to know them personally. And it was their story that really compelled me to realize that there are folks in my very community that I can participate in their journey, whatever that looks like. And it started off as a relationship that built into a wonderful friendship. And so, yeah, that's where it started.
Yeah.
And then I started calling friends and saying, hey, I think there's more hungry people in our city. So let's go see if we can bring some meals and see how we can help.
Yeah, and I mean, it's called People Loving Nashville. I mean, it's really people loving people based on what you just said. I mean, homelessness is such a problem here in Nashville as it is everywhere. What is being done right now? Like, where do we stand with that?
Yeah, totally. So there's a bunch of organizations that have been around for a long time, and there's a few that are new that have come to Nashville, and everybody's kind of rallying together as best they can to bring the resources that they have to address the hardships of our city. There's a lot of cool things that have happened over the season of COVID, where there's a lot more communication happening, a lot more funds to be talking about. But is it enough for right now? I would say no, it's not enough.
Yeah, and so one of the things I appreciate about what you do is that you have these regular occurrences, whether it's a free store, whether it's handing out meals, that you do on a weekly basis. People know to come to you. How can we help? I mean, how can the average everyday person that sees a need but doesn't know what to do, how can we, be part of the solution rather than the problem?
Absolutely. So I have two different answers for that. So one, honestly, the biggest issue that we have is housing inventory. So attainable, affordable housing is an issue that we have. And a lot of citizens don't think that they can actually participate in that. And that's actually a lie. So there are opportunities if you do have rental. There's some folks that may be watching the show that have maybe a few apartments or have a few condos or have a rental home. They can all participate in bringing attainable and affordable housing to our city. And you can do that through the Low Barrier Housing Collective.com. You can just go straight there, and there's actually incentives that you can gain in putting your housing, in that database. Now, there's outside of that, if you don't have a rental home, I would say come volunteer with us, come taste and see what we are participating in on a weekly basis. Monday nights are the easiest way to volunteer with us, and then there's actually way more opportunities past Monday, but Monday is a really great introduction. We bring a little bit of education and a wonderful evening in sharing and giving and serving.
Yeah, that's so good. I didn't even know about that, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. Before I let you go, we drive the streets, we have our kids in the car, they ask really hard questions. I know I even struggle sometimes going to the grocery store knowing I can buy what they can't, whether it's socks, food, whatever it is. How do you help people kind of wrestle with that when we feel like we're having trouble meeting our daily needs, whether it's gas or whatever it is, but knowing there's other people that are struggling more sometimes?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think that one of the main things that we can do on an everyday basis is just have open eyes and open ears, and that when we come across somebody that may be in need or somebody that's struggling, giving them dignity in that moment and love, as we are called to. And we're a Christian organization, and we find our navigation in the Bible. And so when we find that, we find a really great scripture that says to mourn with those that are mourning and rejoice with those that are rejoicing. In need, even if it's at a stoplight, and just saying, hey, how are you doing? How are you holding up today? and then being prepared with maybe a sandwich or something that you can hand and say, hey, I can't do much,
Right.
but I can give you a meal right now.
I think that acknowledgement is so important. There's so much more we could talk about. I'm going to direct people to peoplelovingnashville.com so they can learn more, not only about the organization, but how they can show up to help and play a part in giving dignity. Ryan, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Before I go, I need you to know to live for today. I alluded to all the celebrations happening this month at the top of the show. Not only do I have a daughter graduating high school, but I know there are baby showers, weddings, and so many other gatherings now that the weather is warming up. It can be easy to fill up our schedule mindlessly, but my encouragement for you today is to live each day purposefully. Ask yourself these questions. Will I really regret it if I don't attend? Does the cause, host, or honoree have significance in my life? Do I have the time and money to afford it? And how can I make an impact through either my attendance or interactions? In a time where my daughter and I are constantly being asked what her next steps are, we're being intentional to live in the moment. You know I love to plan and set goals, but if we don't give today what it's worth, our tomorrow may be worthless. So instead of asking someone where they're going to college, when they're getting married, or if they even plan to have children, instead ask them how they're doing today. And if you dare, you just might ask them what it is they wish people knew about them instead. Now that's a guaranteed way to build authenticity and lasting relationships, both for today and into the future. I'm so encouraged by all we heard today, and I hope you discovered more than one way to not only make an impact in your daily life, but in your community as well. I hope you have a great day. Make sure you make it great, and do not wait to tell someone you love how you feel about them. Bye, friends.